Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly partnered with the What the Funk shop. Please check out their store for all sorts of products. They have dice, miniatures, game master screens, home decorations, and many other things. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. And make sure that you use my code for a special discount. This time, I want to talk about something that could support a video that I did about a day ago. I think a day ago or two. No, it was 2 days ago, where I talked about how to understand complex tabletop RPGs. Because this video right here, and you don't need to watch the other video. This video will give you a very interesting perspective on how you learn tabletop RPGs. When it comes to your typical rulebook, you should look at tabletop RPGs as toolkits. Each and every single tabletop RPG core book contains a series of mechanics that you can employ to run the game. There are other nuances, of course, things related to the setting, perhaps general advice on how to roleplay, although that advice is usually very bad. But everything concerning the game mechanics, you should look at them as if you have a set of tools and you choose the right tool for the right job. This means that once you learn the core mechanic of the system, everything else could be considered optional, potentially. So, for example, maybe you are playing a sci fi game and you understand the core mechanic to solve various tests, but then you have the rules on how to pilot mecha or mechs, how to pilot spaceships, how to drive anti-grav vehicles, whatever. And some of those rules could look a bit too complex, right? So in a lot of cases, it will be up to you if you want to use the complex rules, and that's perfectly fine. I also like complex games, but in other moments, there could be people that want to run a session that isn't too crunchy, not too heavy on the crunch. And they could actually choose to handle things via a single or simple check instead of carrying out a sequence of complicated tests or maneuvers to mobilize the mech or mecha. Maybe you only want to do a single check. You have the pilot mech skill or something, and you make that single roll, and it counts to see if you manage to score a hit with the mech, if you manage to be precise while aiming, if you manage to destroy a building, whatever, and that will be perfectly fine. Just keep in mind or take into consideration, like I said, that the rules are not too interconnected with other things. Always check the systems and subsystems to see that things are not going to mm, fall apart like a house of cards because they were connected in some way. Or at the very least, you can also check those connections like, oh, this role connects with this other role, and perhaps eliminate some of those roles, simplify things to a single role in the case of various roles, or perhaps just select a few of those roles like, oh, you need to do three roles to check this or that, then make only two if that is your preference. So every single section of the RPG book of the rules, of the mechanics, could be seen as optional, potentially optional. And some games even give you that context, that mindset. You could have a game that tells you, here is the levels of health or the wounds or whatnot. But if the context or the situation demands it, then it could be the certain death of a character. You don't need to count all of the hit points, all of the levels of health, all of the etc. It's similar to how you handle things context wise in your typical Dungeons and Dragons game. A lot of players feel shackled to a sort of video game or board game mentality when you have to eliminate all of the hit points before the character dies. So it's ridiculous. You have the perfect stealth setup. You manage to sneak behind a particular guard, and now you have the chance to strike. The guard is completely oblivious to your presence. He is defenseless. You are there with your dagger, whatever, short sword, your garrote, or your a really good grappler. You could break the enemy's neck. It's all set up. But no, no, the opponent has 40 hit points, so now you have to roll until you deplete all of the hit points. No, and then that's when there is a disconnection with the purpose of tabletop role playing games. You are playing a role and you are playing a game. In the case of role playing, it is believable, it is realistic within the fictional environment that if you have an opponent completely unaware to your presence and you are right behind him with your dagger or any other weapon of choice, it could be an automatic kill. It is most certainly, in most cases, an automatic kill. Perhaps only if the guard was super skilled, like one of the elite, one of the best guards in the region. Maybe then you need to make a roll to see if the attempt is successful or whatever, right? So always keep context into consideration. Take a look at your tabletop RPG books as if they are toolkits. A lot of the things are just optional, even if the book doesn't tell you so. Because some books tell you these are optional rules. No, no, guess what? All of the rules are optional. But of course, if you buy the book because you want to play a tabletop role playing game, you want to use at least some of the mechanics, right? Otherwise, why are you purchasing the book in the first place? You could also perhaps only use the setting information. As long as you roleplay and play a game, you could handle things diceless if you wish, but make sure you inform that to the players, right? I remember a long time ago, several years back, I didn't know how to play Anima Beyond Fantasy. And a group was like, "Yeah, we're going to play Anima," and I was like, "Oh boy, going to play Anima." They weren't rolling anything, and it wasn't even diceless. It was like a conversation storytelling thing. No role play, and no playing the game. So yeah, I only played once with that group. So yes, definitely consider all of that. Thank you for watching this. Because for those of you that do not know, diceless is perfectly doable with any setting. You only need to assign some values to the strength, the various characteristics, skills, and then you measure that against a particular difficulty number. And that is it. So yes, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the Super Thanks button. Take a look at the information in the description and in the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar. And remember, professional game master, and remember, what should I say? Oh yeah, in tabletop RPGs, you are not telling stories about your characters. You are experiencing the game world as your characters. Once again, thank you and see you later.